She was wrong.
She was wrong.
She led us straight.
Okay, hold on. I got a question for y'all.
Allow Abraham to spin the block.
If you did that.
Yeah. So then for the men, was Adam wrong for accepting what she proposed?
Yeah.
Now you ain't got nothing to say now, Marcus, huh?
Was he wrong?
Abraham.
He had permission.
You said
Nah.
Abraham or Adam?
I meant to say Abraham, not
But
Adam.
Adam had a choice. Abraham had a choice.
Yeah, but we saying Abraham.
Abraham.
You said Abraham. Who you said Abraham?
Abraham.
Oh, Abraham.
Abraham.
Oh, okay.
Abraham.
I got both A's.
Abraham was wrong.
He was wrong.
Like morally.
How?
I'm with you. I'm just trying not to get jumped on.
if she
This is a great conversation. It should be
if she told him, hey, I can't give you kids right now, but I know somebody who's healthy and young and got eggs, go ahead and do it. Because you gave him the back in his mind, he thought like, no, I don't want to do that because that's my wife. He probably had to go on in his mind. But when you telling me, hey,
it wasn't my idea.
It wasn't my idea to go lay with her. It wasn't my idea to say, hey, you know, I'm gonna go lay with Hagar because you told me to.
You said,
hey.
No, and Sarah, she probably set it up. You know what I'm saying? She probably set it up.
Because he should have considered her.
She
did consider her.
She should have considered her.
I'm gonna give you a baby.
He talked to her. They had a conversation.
God.
Well, my thing is, like you say, Abraham should have considered her, right?
They had a conversation.
But at the end of the day, he didn't come up with the idea. So she should have considered herself. You know what I'm saying? Like,
She came up
a
with
lot of women,
She probably
they
did,
be
but
so
her
quick.
desire
That
to
and
got
her
her
emotions. Yes.
control the outcome.
Say that again. Her
desire
emotions
and her emotions.
controlled the outcome,
Emotional
and she was trying to help God out.
Yes.
Which is what a lot of us do. We be thinking a certain way, but now our thoughts, God's thoughts is nowhere near our thoughts the way He thinks. So, but this is my thing, because I like to analyze everything. The fact that this woman,
I feel it was all the emotions.
hold on. But the fact that this woman asking another woman to have a child for her husband is not your child.
No.
It's gonna be Hagar and Abraham's child.
That's more emotion.
So it's like ding, ding, ding. You didn't think that
Yeah,
through.
she wasn't
No,
thinking that
she
through.
was desperate. Yeah.
very desperate.
Desperate.
And God said, you both are gonna have a child. But you see how we can even override stuff when God is trying to tell us, because we think that stuff is impossible when God is saying it, but God works in the impossible. That's why we need to let God do what He does and stop trying to help Him out.
And she got her promise.
Huh?
She got her promise.
She should have got that page.
Okay.
She said, but
She got her
at the
promise.
same
Her
time,
promise.
like that's a lot of times.
Yeah, like
when
Sarah looked at
when
bad.
God
Because the
spoke,
Pharaoh wanted Sarah.
Okay.
But I would
it
not.
ain't like she was ugly. You know what I'm saying?
But listen, I would not.
90 was different back then.
I would not say. I would not. And when the father part, I would not send my son. I would ask God, please forgive me, because I would not send my son out in no desert.
I'm going, but I don't think.
If God has to forgive, I'm not sending my son out there to die.
He
Send him out, and that's my kid.
Jimmy done jumped from the free throw line. Jimmy, we ain't on that part yet.
I'm looking at
Wait to the desert.
I'm looking at the father part.
Yeah.
Still on the beginning.
But
We on the infertility and action.
I went past that. I'm looking at the father.
Jimmy
looking at all that.
Jimmy gonna spoil the movie.
I show love and
We all been trying to build it up. And so he started talking. I'm like, what the
Wait a minute, where is that? Where is that? That's way down in the
All
bottom.
right, let's take it back to how we. Yep, let's go right back here. Okay. So she suggested that Abraham have a child with her maidservant Hagar instead of Abraham saying, I don't think this is good. He said, yes, dear.
Oh, he was happy.
Hold on. And this is just how we say it in today's time. Yes, dear, whatever you want.
That's it.
Dear.
Sound like Adam to me.
Did it make them happy?
Adam to me, don't it?
Do you think it made them happy?
What?
Not after what Sarah
I mean,
went through with
Abraham
Hagar.
sounded like he was happy for a moment.
Yeah, he was happy, but what she suffered, you know, with them picking on her and, oh, I'm sorry,
You good too.
Yeah, you jumping too. We
It's a little bit.
Yeah, you went to the,
You went to the
right after yours would have been the end.
That's
All right.
We jumping.
So get this. So let me ask this question. Was this infidelity?
Yes.
What's the law of infidelity put into the aspects then? This is we're in Genesis now.
That's true.
Knowing that
That's true.
we're in Genesis now.
That's
like
true.
that ain't come till
3 wives.
later on.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Oh, no.
So
Definitely.
infidelity wasn't even a thing.
But was the law written in their heart yet? Or was it?
God was still writing it.
I mean,
He was still writing.
I mean, he got
Ask that question.
Because the laws didn't come till Moses.
That's true.
Okay.
That's true.
Okay.
But he still got on Cain for killing Abel.
Cause
Yeah.
yeah,
Come on here, boy.
Yeah.
yeah.
Come on, boy.
Okay.
It was something in his heart though.
All right, brother.
Yeah.
I can say
It was
that
lurking
you know
at
the
the
word
door.
now. Okay.
Yeah.
All right, y'all. Okay. So, but though this is considered, but sin never turns out the way you planned it to. We're calling it sin.
Right.
Because I'm gonna tell you why. Because they disobeyed God, and how God. So I'm looking at faces, but they did disobey God.
I don't know. Come on now.
Can I say something?
I'm
Yeah.
on that one.
So, when you asked the question, was she wrong? Absolutely, she was wrong, he was wrong. Because, I mean, it's the same aspect with Adam and Eve, right? God gave Adam the command, right? So, when God told Abraham that he was going to give him him and his wife was going to have a son, God already gave the word.
Right.
So
Word
when
went.
Sarah decided to manipulate it and say, oh, I'm getting too old, I can have a baby through my handmaid, them two got together, had that baby. So even though she suggested it, she still went above what God said he was going to do. So she was dead wrong, and so was Abraham, because God told Abraham
Once again, we
first.
should have said no.
Oh, there you go. God told Abraham first.
That he was gonna have
The word came like it did with Adam. It came first, and somehow Adam and Abraham let these women
Just two-sided.
Imagine that.
suggest something.
I got what you're saying. Right.
But see, but is that not showing a weakness in men's armor? You know what I'm saying? Because at the end of the day, and that's why I'm a firm believer of why Jesus came without a woman around him. You know what I'm saying? Because that was the only way he could have fulfilled all those promises without the distractions. You know what I'm saying? Because every
Don't
man
go too deep on
in
that
the,
right there.
every man in the Bible who had a woman
Ooh. Samson.
was sinning. You know what I'm saying? They were going against God
David.
for that woman.
That's true.
Now you name one that was, and the only ones that was successful was the ones who didn't have now.
Oh.
So then, do you think?
Well,
Paul.
those two, so the thing with that is, those two only had one wife, right? So
And look what they
they
did.
only had one wife.
Yeah.
So, and the women, yes, they manipulated. But Samson, now that's a different situation.
Samson had the problems he was
But it
dealing with.
does show a man's weakness.
Yeah.
That's his vulnerable side.
It's a
That's-
weakness.
Yeah, it does show.
Right.
And his wife opened it right on her. He probably was so
Sure
shocked.
did.
He probably was like, is she really saying this right now?
Abraham,
Probably his mind saying the Lord is real good.
I'm thinking good. Look at God. What are you doing?
God never gave Abraham that okay. He never even went to God to say, I want
Yeah, so then wouldn't that be something? He just said yes, dear, like told her yes. But he should have said,
Shit talk.
let me go talk to God about this.
But Abraham wanted to
You
do
right,
it.
sis. Go ahead.
Abraham, that lets you know Abraham ain't want to talk to God. Abraham wanted, his wife gave him permission.
Open sesame.
That's right. Green light.
Green light.
Green light.
We'll good deal with the consequences later.
But you know what? I like what Minister Charnay said, because I didn't see it like that. Because if he would have talked to God further.
God would have told him no.
No, and he probably wouldn't did it. So I like what you said.
God
I didn't
said
see
no.
it. That's good, man.
He still
Charlie,
did it.
that was good. I ain't look at it like that. She did.
But
good on
key
that.
is
You think
to
so?
to look at it
Yeah.
from different sides.
She
What
did,
did you
yeah.
say?
He still would have did it.
No, if I would have told her, I
He
don't
probably
think.
would've.
You think Abraham still would have did
No.
it?
He probably would
He probably would.
Flesh, maybe.
No, I don't think he would have did it.
I don't, if he
Just
can,
like Adam
if he
did,
can
he still did it.
obey
Yeah, because his
God,
wife said it. All right, babe.
I don't think he would have did it.
But Adam didn't.
If they had went and consulted with God,
Right.
because again, gentlemen, God made the man the head. He is the leader of the
Y'all
household.
make it seem real like a good idea.
No, but I'm just saying, he is the leader of the household. So even when a woman brings the suggestion, the man needs to go talk to God.
Yeah.
That's true.
But then you come back and be like, no, you should be mad.
She get mad all she wants.
All right. Okay. All right.
Now you get to go out.
So at least we can understand with this how this is playing out, and I'm glad that we're able to have great conversation, give different perspectives on it, and nobody getting super mad. We are enjoying it, right? And this how really it's supposed to be. With all of it. Now let's move a little further. In Genesis 16:5, we read that Sarah becomes insecure with Hagar now pregnant.
Hater.
Somebody in their feelings.
Sin has consequences, and insecurity makes you want what is not yours.
Not those.
In the end, Hagar and her son Ishmael go to Egypt and reject the God of Abraham. The entire religion of Islam is built on, and then it goes into talking about other religions here. But it's important for us to remember that God has enough blessings to go around. So let's just take it back real quickly. So now we have Hagar is pregnant, Sarah is not pregnant.
Abraham.
Sarah is now catching feelings. That's crazy, right? But you suggested
You set
it.
this up.
You told us that.
It goes back to what you said. She didn't think about it.
She didn't think it through. But she was literally trying to help God out. Oh,
Hey, I wanted to explain that. I know you ain't your fingers, but hey, go on this side.
Do we need to go back a little bit and let him answer the question?
I would love to see Trent's insight on this.
Yeah.
I would love it.
Let her have it.
Can we rewind this one for the people in the back?
Right from the beginning.
Yeah.
Okay. No, well, I'm not gonna go all the way back to the beginning, but I'll start right here. All right. So we know that Abraham and Sarah wanted a child. They were frustrated, impatient. They got tired of waiting on God. So at the beginning of Genesis 16, we read that Sarai decided to help God out. She suggested that Abraham have a child with her maidservant Hagar. And instead of Abraham saying, I don't think this is a good idea, he said, yes, dear, whatever you want. Now, were they right and wrong in this situation? Was Sarah wrong? Look how big his eyes getting. Was Abraham
I'm so
wrong?
interested.
I don't know what he's gonna say. That's why.
I can't wait.
Look at her.
I'm actually.
I want to hear what he's gonna say. Come on, you got this thing. I know you're gonna come.
Spit it out.
Don't let your opponent get you.
That's so something.
Leave it blocked.
Minister Trent?
I feel like adultery is adultery, irregardless. You can't tell a mate what you want the word to say in your life, irregardless of the circumstance. If it was going to be a blessing from God, it would have been a blessing from God. And that's
And he don't need your help, right?
that part. So
Let's talk about the permission, though.
Trent finished.
But
didn't
given the
finish.
hall pass, they
Right.
put it there.
There you go.
That's the in the moment type of thing. You let that hall pass sit, and then I'm gonna bring it up 3 months later. Let's see if you still feel the same way.
Gave the permission to spin the
I
block.
know we've been waiting a while.
Bend the block.
All fans don't last that
Nah, they
long.
don't.
You got an hour. You ain't got a long of a window.
So was Sarah wrong for suggesting to her husband?
Absolutely.
And was Abraham wrong for agreeing to go with it?
Yeah.
And we even took it back to how Adam also, because we were saying that both men had directives from God that certain things were to be, but the woman came and suggested something different. So the man didn't go back and talk to God.
Yeah.
They just went with what the woman said.
Grandma Eve was just too fine.
There you go.
He's talking about that. Okay. All right, y'all. All right. Thank you. Thank you for adding your input, Minister Trent.
Waiting on you.
Thank you.
Yeah.
So now we see that insecurity has took place. This is interesting. This thing is breaking it down, and they're doing it by eyes. They started with infertility, infidelity, insecurity.
But see, only one person was insecure.
Okay. So the person you said is insecure is Sarah?
It was only Sarah was
the only one.
Abraham had 8. You know what I mean? Abraham taking care of his baby mama. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. That's why she was insecure. You know,
Rich.
now you know when a woman gets pregnant, their feet get swole. You gotta, you know what I'm saying? Now you see your man catering to your baby. Yeah. But this was your idea. This was the woman's idea. She didn't think. She definitely didn't think this through. I know she. I thought she probably.
Men are very responsive. Ladies, are y'all gonna step in a little bit?
I mean, we said what it was. Emotional beings. So she
Emotional beings.
She was on shade and everything. That's
I ain't never heard a woman this minute.
Yes, all the time. Women are very emotional.
Yeah.
But then the man is also supposed to understand that the woman is emotional.
Say it. Right there. Yes. Understand.
I understand.
Because what if your emotions are wrong? Like we've had 2 conclusions that the emotional woman and her decision making is wrong.
But that's why God made the man the head.
The head.
Logical. Okay. That sounds good until we say no.
But here's the thing: if you're an authority, so here's the thing, right?
Come on.
When it comes to marriage, if you're in a right marriage, the right marriage in God's sight, then it does not matter because you're the head regardless.
Come on.
So if I come to my husband with this grand idea and he say, give me a minute, because I want answers today. Right. And he know, I'll be like, tell me, I'm going to keep asking him, babe, give me a minute. I ain't even pray on this. Let me calm my nerves, get out my emotions, and let the men of God pray on this.
Hey.
When he comes to me and say, listen, that's not a good idea, whatever, I may be in my feelings, but I trust that he went to God, he prayed on it. God said absolutely not, so I have to be okay with the no, regardless of my feelings. But
Yes.
at the end of the day, he's the head because if something goes wrong with a decision that I made, he got to carry that.
That's right. I'm with you, sis. Come on.
Keyword.
Hey, you come sit on this.
I'm a head.
Yeah, he really did kick it off. He did kill it.
Broke that down.
But the key to that word that you gave, which was very, very prominent. Like it was right on, nail on the head. But the key word that you put in that was right.
Yeah.
Right marriage.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So a lot of marriages aren't right.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So when you go into this, okay, boom, and a lot of times men get in relationships with women that don't have that mindset.
Right.
And so when you say no, it
have a whole fit.
It blows over.
you get your head chopped.
Yeah.
So it's like, do I deal with the repercussions that I'm finna feel now?
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Or do I deal with the repercussions I'm gonna feel later? You know what I'm saying?
But see, in that instance, you're dealing with a major communication issue.
That part.
If you can't even communicate, whether y'all in a time of bliss or even a time of disagreement,
That's right.
It's not going to work out.
Right.
Women are prone to being more impulsive than men are at certain things. You know what I'm saying? So it's like impulsive thoughts. Again, like she said,
That's
she
another
may
hour
have
or two,
a
impulsive.
feeling about something. And if, you know, mulling it over, going to God with it and allowing him to actually work that thing through, then you can come back with something that she'll actually not only receive, but actually also agree with
Come on,
in the long run and understand your reason behind whether it's a no or a yes.
Come on, preacher.
I would say, even in like the wrong marriage, in the Bible it shows a lot of marriages that were broken. You know what I'm saying? So guys, that's just
a lot of examples.
a man of God, but the woman doesn't want to listen. So how do you really deal with that? Even if it's the wrong marriage you're in, like how would you deal with a woman who just doesn't want to hear God from you?
Get out of it.
Yes.
You're not equally yoked.
Exactly.
Come on.
Yeah.
You're not equally yoked with somebody.
Or-
This is why we tell people don't rush into marriage. People always are rushing into marriages. I mean, I've been married before, so I can talk on it, right?
Yeah.
And I can see my cousin shaking her head real hard over here. But you know, because I wasn't looking at the whole picture, is this man really right for me? I saw the body, the muscles, that he had the potential, and he had the potential because he started coming to church and he joined my church. That Lord, okay, God, and I was in my mind, well, God can do it. God's gonna bring him there. God's gonna, but not thinking, does this person line with the purpose and destiny God has for my life?
And you can also.
We miss all of that. We miss all of that because I mean, again, we can say you can have chemistry with 50 people and not be the one.
Because spirits know spirits.
Because spirits know spirits. You can have chemistry with 50 people and none of them be the one for you.
Yes.
And so when it's that, there's purpose and destiny that begin to align, kind of like, you know, and God will begin to show you who's really that person for you. Sometimes we will overlook it.
Yeah.
Because you're looking for certain things.
And it be the one you least expect.
And it be the one you least expect.
But you can also.
I know that's right.
But you can also stay in that realm. She said you can go to first. You go to 1 Timothy 3 and 5. Go to 1 Timothy 3 and 5. He said, if you don't take care of my, if you don't take care of my house, how you gonna be able to take care of God's house? I mean, you got to get your house right with marriage. What she was saying. So I always look at 1 Timothy 3 and 5. You put that on a marriage. You take care of your household. You get your household lined up, your marriage lined up with God. Then God will give you the answer that you got.
But we're talking about before you get married. When you trying to find it.
When you
She said in marriage too. She said if you have a problem, she I go to my husband and I'm someone you having a right marriage, use that, seek God in that, because when you do that, your marriage will flourish and will grow. That's what I'm saying.
So a lot of people think this. I'm sorry. I just gotta get this out. A lot of people think because they have kids with somebody, that's their person.
That part.
And even though God said, get your household equally yoked, he did not say marry your baby daddy, marry your baby mama. Because sometimes two people just get together and they have good, you know what I'm saying, chemistry.
Say good sex.
Okay, we could.
And they basing the marriage on good sex.
Right. They have. No. We know it's not. But that's when you get married to their baby mom or baby dads, they going based off, we had sex, we got a kid, we might as well think about it.
It's better than marrying a bird.
Yeah, better than marrying a bird. Oh my God,
and people was marrying the wrong people.
Yeah. You had people getting married 3-4 times.
Yeah.
In the church.
In the church. Yeah.
Married multiple times in the church because of that saying. People missed it all.
He thought he had a Proverbs 31, had a Jezebel.
Come on here, Dante. Come on here, Dante. Right.
Hey man, I noticed my dress is cut.
She got me. Yeah.
That's good.
I trusted her. I trusted her. And crazy though, how quick, we'll trust quick. Better than good. It's like, man, it was good. You know what, I think I love you.
There you go.
Key in the pin number.
Yeah. I'm gonna make you a key.
Because now you base it off of feelings.
Yeah, it feel good.
And feelings change.
Yeah.
Get paid our light bill. What was I thinking?
Soon as you see that attitude, soon as you see that crazy that was hid behind, you be like, oh wow.
Let me tell you how Marcus been living like he's speaking from experience. All right. You can see the passion, Marcus. Like your whole.
It's okay.
I was gonna say, the Bible doesn't really preach about divorce.
Say again?
The Bible doesn't really preach about divorce.
It
And on top of that, like you
It
see,
talks about like the whole separation.
Moses
Very
talks
good
about
situation.
it. In the book of Moses, he talks about that divorce.
it also shows like in those marriages or in the Bible, like broken women leading men to do the wrong thing often causes men to be closer to God. You look at Adam, Abraham, Moses, you know what I'm saying, Samson, you know what I'm saying, you're looking at David,
Solomon.
Even Job wife.
Job.
Curses God and died.
So yeah, even Job. So even, like, it can show you how like your suffering often makes you look up to God and say.
That's why you gotta know.
Look up.
That's good.
You gotta know where the wind coming from.
You gotta show me ready to suffer.
You know what I forgot to do, and before we go any further, and we're gonna hit this back, we now need to focus on Hagar.
Yeah.
Was Hagar wrong?
Yes.
She was a slave.
She was going for
Think carefully.
She was a slave.
I bet she thought about it like
And the
That
Bible
was a
says
blessing
obey
for
your master.
her.
Abraham.
Wasn't wrong.
No, hang on.
Huh?
The Bible says obey your master.
Hang on, was wrong.
That's why I said think carefully, because of the fact that she was really,
Just doing what?
Yeah, she wasn't
what
wrong.
she was told.
That's right.
but,
Did she want to do it though?
but,
She knew she
but,
enjoyed it.
huh?
She enjoyed it.
No.
Abraham a rich man.
Yeah. Yeah, I didn't have a baby like mine and yours.
I'm a slave and I get this opportunity.
Step aside, Sarah.
Let me tell you how I do it.
Listen, and I don't know if you realize it, but Hagar's attitude started changing.
She was glowing.
But she was bragging, but
It's like she felt like she was the woman with the authority
Yeah, like she was the wife.
because she was able to give a child to Sarah's husband.
I bet she was looking at the
Sarah, like, let me go around and see the baby mama.
looking at all the cattle, like,
I did what you couldn't do.
Yeah.
That's like attitude.
Yeah, that was.
Because we cannot forget Hagar in this whole situation.
Yeah, she was bragging.
When you say she was really like punished for what she did, she was blessed.
No, she wasn't
She didn't
punished.
ended up getting blessed though. I mean, God, because I mean,
Blessed and
God
punished.
came to her twice
Yup.
and told her,
exactly.
I promise you nations beyond nations.
And now there's a nation of Islam.
Yeah, she was blessed.
Gotta remember that.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
She was
I
blessed.
You know what I'm saying?
Because her, yeah.
She
You got
was
what's his name? He
So,
got
I mean, she didn't really disobey anybody. She was
I mean,
she was told.
No.
sin still has consequences.
Sin does have consequences, and I'm trying to give an example of how we can look at that in today's time.
And I think in that sense, she didn't know any better though.
Exactly.
So like in today's time, a married man go sleep with a female and get her pregnant. She didn't know he was married.
Yeah, and that doesn't mean that God's not gonna bless that child
Right.
Right.
because of what the
He
parents did.
Yeah, right.
And it's kind of like if a man rapes a woman and there's a child that comes out of it,
He lost his
Um,
son.
that doesn't mean, because God really could bless that child, even though that situation was horrible.
Yeah.
That child becomes the blessing that God can raise that child up.
But see, God killed David, baby.
The
Well,
first one.
Alright.
The first one.
She knew it. She knew
yeah,
it.
they did.
God.
he did in that situation.
You want to live for
Yeah,
7 minutes.
but David did some.
David was
David did some evil stuff.
David was a hoe.
Solomon was worse.
David was a player.
But
He also
David
was
still
a
was a
man
hoe.
of God.
David was a player.
David deliberately said
Deliberately.
He did.
Deliberately.
God loved him.
Yes.
He was loved like a God's own heart. But however,
He was because he always went to God.
when he saw her,
He always went to God.
And that's a lesson right there.
It was bad. My boy was hot.
Talk about it. Talk about it.
All right.
The repentance.
Yeah.
They say God hears a repentant heart.
So was there some inconsistency? That's the next I. Was there inconsistency in this Abraham and Sarah story? Think about the whole.
About the question.
To me, the inconsistency is Abraham just did, his faith wavered. Because they say he's the father of faith, so his faith wavered when he agreed to the plan versus saying, no, I'm gonna wait on God.
Yeah, and Sarah was inconsistent when she came up with a decision and then wanted to renege afterwards.
I'm sick of him.
You
is on the camera.
Oh, you can say renege?
Church house.
That's like in spades. You renege?
That,
Oh, sorry.
Because you gotta know. Abraham faith was weak, and the enemy knew that because he remembered the covenant he made with the seed of the serpent and the seed of the woman.
okay.
Come on, preacher.
Okay.
And he was trying to stop that in every aspect of the story.
All right, now, Bruno.
Come on, preacher.
All right, that's good
I'm
stuff.
trying to think of a better way I could have said what I said.
Go ahead. And some of you don't use what you're not gonna use no profanity.
Yeah.
You can't do nothing.
I was like, okay. Sarah.
All he said is Sarah, and we laughing.
I need to bounce the ball when I talk. Sarah, although she made a decision, Sarah came to Abraham with a decision.
We know.
Right? It was a decision that was made in her mind already.
It was genius.
It was flawless. You know what I'm saying? But the inconsistency was she wasn't willing to go follow through with it. You know what I'm saying? By her copping out at the.
Yeah.
Can I say copping out?
Yeah, you can say cop out.
By her copping out before, you know what I'm saying, when it started getting uncomfortable, you know what I'm saying? As soon as it started getting uncomfortable for her, she's like, yeah, nah, this is too much. It's too much. You know what I'm saying?
Again, she didn't think the plan through because she made the decision out of emotions.
Ain't getting touched.
Because in her mind, she's having a baby with her husband through another woman,
Serious.
but did not realize how uncomfortable that thing was going to get.
And that it really ain't
And the first,
It ain't no baby at all.
in the first form.
baby.
Exactly.
Yes.
The first son.
And that's balls.
So she really jacked up the promise that God was trying to get. People can jack up what God's trying to do.
Come on now.
And that is key. People can jack up what God is trying to do because
You
you can mess up your own blessing, moving ahead of time, not waiting. The key is the waiting is what people don't like to do, but in the waiting process, that's where things are getting purified. If you just allow God to do what He's gonna do, but the fact that people can't wait, they mess it up. They mess up the blessing, and then they'll come back and be mad at God.
Why you mad at you?
When you overstep. When you went in and overstepped what God said.
Yeah.
If God has a promise for y'all, wait. Don't
Sarah had to feel some type of
regret.
well, not just but when she came up with the idea, you know what I'm gonna do?
She thought it was genius.
Yeah, she was literally you know what I'm
My
gonna do?
master plan.
I don't think she felt anything.
years.
She just did not think. She was
She just so desperate.
Baby, I'm telling you,
like
probably
the
what
time period that she was waiting, she couldn't get pregnant. I believe back in that time, it was the thing to give your husband a child.
Oh, back then it's all about.
Oh, that was a big thing.
Even Africa is like that right now.
So the only thing I know to do, being emotional, hey, my servant, her womb is young. So therefore it's like, okay, we really want this, here's the option. That's straight emotion. To me, the man should have seen the desperation, considered God, and came back.
Come on, woman.
Come on.
Abraham, he was looking at other things.
I didn't even know you had that. Come on.
Yeah, she's going in.
I know I thought.
I let me see hand up baby on the mid side.
It's included with the emotion. Like I said, it's also an impulsive decision that was made. She saw her, she figured, oh, this is a good idea. She probably didn't even think it over really herself. And it, like I say, from time to time, it's hard to hear what God has for you, or your answers from God, when you've already made up in your mind what you want him to say, and what timing you want him to have. You putting God on your own time. That's not how it operates.
No, he don't work
That's
like
not
that.
how God's gonna work for you in your life.
No, he don't work like that.
Again, I would say too, if it was something he was gonna bless you with, he would have been blessed you with it.
Yeah.
But maybe it's not your season for that blessing. Maybe it's not the calling.
There's an appointed time for everything.
That part.
Not your season.
So I think it's the
That
emotion.
right there says y'all, it is not your season. I've seen husband and wives get married. They want a child right off. Seriously, I've seen it, and they getting frustrated, but the baby don't come until 11 years later. Why did God wait that long? But it happens. The baby don't come till 11 years later.
For a good reason.
For a good reason. There are reasons why God does things, and sometimes, and people be trying. They go get all this stuff done trying to have a baby, but if it's not in God's timing, some things don't work out. And then I've seen some who they've been trying to have a baby for so long, they can't, but then they have to adopt the child. Once they adopt the child, then God allows her womb to open up, and then she can have a child.
Because now they serving a purpose.
Yeah. See, everything happens, and this is key for anybody. And I've been at 44 years old, almost 45. I'm just really learning how God is how he works stuff. And he doesn't do anything in our time. He doesn't, just because I can get emotional because I didn't have a child doesn't mean, you know what I'm saying? There's just a lot of things that can go with that. God has a purpose and a plan. He knows how he needed my life to be. He knows how he has everybody's life to be. He knows these things. And it is our place to just stay in a place of saying, God, whatever your will is for my life, let me be able to have peace and and be able to walk in that peace, still have joy, in spite of what God's doing. Now, he had to prove a point with them too, because they had to wait to their old age, because God is the God of the impossible. So what looked impossible to man, God had to show through this story that it is possible. There are women now in their 50s and 60s having babies.
And 70s.
And in their 70s having babies.
God, don't get it to me. I want it.
And it's because God is having to prove something. Because, and this is key too, man has this set thing on how they think it should be. And even for my single people, I know back in the day when I was wanting to be married, and people were like, oh, you're 24 and you're not married yet? Ooh, people married at this age. No, yeah. So it's like we want to put age on it. We want to put this, and we put age on a lot of things. But just don't. Follow God's plan for your life. Key.
I'm young in spirit.
Follow God's plan. God has done the miraculous in women's lives. Some of them have lost, or maybe they've had things taken out like the uterus, and God has miraculously put it back in. They was able to have a child. Seriously.
Freaking eggs.
Yeah.
But it also, like I said, but sometimes when God knows when you're ready to have a child or not. But first of all, having a child, you gotta be stable, financial stable.
You should be stable.
You gotta be stable, financial
People
stable.
having children, they ain't
So you having all these, you want to have a children.
I broke my first baby.
You want to have a child, but are you financially
A person that doesn't leave
stable?
an inheritance
Can you
for their
provide?
family is worse than an unbeliever.
Yeah.
So you want to have these, you have these children. Make sure you got a roof over their head. Make sure you can be a provider, because it's not like that.
Yeah.
You know how many times me and my wife want children? Me and my wife tried plenty of time, but we said, you know what? It's in your will.
It's a set time.
It's in his will, not me and her will.
It's a set time, and God sees, and God has a panoramic view. And I like to say panoramic because he's up here, looking down. He has a panoramic view of your life, how it's supposed to play out. He's not down here ground level looking at life. He has he knows that this ain't the right time. He may know that maybe she'll be too stressed out to do it right now. Stuff got to balance. So he will keep you in a place
There you go.
until, trust me, I'm a wise woman. So I have to give a different perspective. Because wanted to be that whenever the time that God says that she was going to have a child, is so she won't be in a stressful state. So that baby will be healthy.
Ooh, especially if you can get 3 at once.
That's why some flowers
That-
don't bloom.
You never seen the Octo Mom?
That's why some flowers don't bloom but every couple of years.
There you go.
A lot of people don't realize the reason behind it is because that what was planted, that seed needs to
There
be
you go.
really rooted and really strong enough to be able to take care of the fact.
Exactly.
Like lavender, for example, which is cherished
Yeah.
everywhere around the world. Lavender doesn't bloom but every couple of years. And even after you plant it don't matter how much you add to it, how much fertilizer and everything you add to
That's
it.
good.
If it's not really rooted and where it was planted at, it's not going to happen.
That's good.
And it follows into our life. If we're not really rooted, if
Come
we're
on,
not really
man.
planted, if we're not really stable and stable ground with a great foundation beneath us, that blessing is not going to come.
Right.
Not when we think it's going to come again. We keep trying to put God on his time plan. And that's not how it works.
You don't work like that.
And sometimes he'll let
Don't
you get
put
one
God on a
when you ain't ready.
time.
Just to show you wasn't ready.
You weren't ready. Like everybody really not ready for marriage. You get married, want to be married, and they just jump in on it, and it wasn't.
Like you
Also,
don't
too, people don't like the waiting period. They forget the most important part of waiting: preparation.
Yeah.
Like you gotta learn how to prepare. So like,
Come on, that part.
you know, you waiting on a baby, you gotta prepare your body for this baby.
Prepare your
Because
body.
a quick testimony, not of mine, but a friend of mine. She got married to her husband. Between the two of them, they had 6 kids, and they wanted one more together to bind them together. So she was praying, they was trying, they was doing all the things. They didn't have the baby. And then finally, when she got pregnant, she ended up getting pregnant with twins. And she said, not only was I not prepared mentally, but physically, my body was, she said when she got ready to have her babies, they almost killed her. Because she literally wasn't in preparation. Her weight, all of that wasn't in preparation to even give birth. And she's older in age as well.
Wow.
And so that's things that we don't think about. When we're praying for something, God said you gotta prepare for the position to reap the promise.
Yeah.
That's
Because
just
you make me think about the farmer. The farmer plants the seed, but he don't stop there.
Exactly.
He prepares for the harvest.
Exactly.
You,
Good stuff.
you hit a nail.
Yes, she did.
Good stuff.
Church.
This is a very good group that goes very, very deep.
stuff.
So we're getting ready to close. I think it was a great discussion on Abraham and Sarah, but I do want to add this last part about inconsistency. So there was some inconsistency there. Twice he lied about her being his wife. Do you remember that?
Yeah, that's my sister.
Egypt.
Oh yeah, Pharaoh wanted her.
Sarah was fine.
Sarah was fine. Don't get it.
So that was a part. That was where there was some inconsistency.
Yes.
Cause he lied twice.
The king wanted her.
I just wonder how they looked at 99 back then.
Hey, look,
Probably looked better. It was probably they probably looked very good.
Hundreds of years, so
Uh-huh.
I wonder if they looked like in the 20s at 90.
how old was Sarah live?
Weren't
That's a
they?
good question. I don't. How
Well,
long?
Abraham was like,
Weren't they?
How long did Sarah live?
Yeah, did they go up to
I
that?
got a book on it. I
Even though it was old.
You don't have to do that. We could. I pull it right now.
All of how old is it? It got to the time. All
I got that book too.
all of no.
She was 100
We got
years
age.
old.
All
I thought she was
age.
100 years old.
I got it right there. I got it right here. Yeah, hey, Sarah. How old Sarah? She died.
Sarah dies at the age of 127.
Okay.
And Abraham buys a piece of land with a cave near Hebron from Ephraim, the Hittite, in which to bury her. Which is the first land owned by the Israelites in Canaan, according to the biblical narrative. The place became known as the Cave of the Patriarchs.
She died 37 years after she had the baby.
Now, you know how my mind about to go all the way in. I wanted that Abraham go back and look up Hagar.
Well, hey, I want to know what my baby mama at.
I need to go check up on her.
That's good. Cause
That's just where my mind went all that time. Hey, cause see, sometimes the Bible will stop like right here. You be like, is this it?
Make your mouth.
You ain't telling me that whole thing.
And then Abraham lived all them years and
they got married again. They got married again.
Huh?
He probably
They got married again.
I'm sure he did.
I'm pretty sure he did.
Married again. He had more babies.
Step back in blood.
Where did she?
Well, thank y'all so much. I think we had a great conversation. Come on, that was good. I enjoyed it. See, we can do these he says, she says, and it'd be great.
He said he was the father of the nation, so I know.
Oh, right there. He was a father of nations, so that means he was doing some things.
Whatever his hat was.
Very sanctified.
Wasn't he a cursed?
Say it again.
Ishmael, wasn't he a cursed nation?
Ishmael?
Yeah.
Yeah, it said hands will be against him and he will be against him.
Yeah, he was a curse. You right.
That's what Islam does originate.
Oh, Islam.
Islam.
And it brought issues
Islam.
with the giants in the situation.
Right.
The issues with the Nephilim.
Yeah.
I'm gonna let my brother enjoy himself.
Listen, he good.
He going to scripture. He going to scripture.
And that was a whole different situation.
He is good.
You can have quite a
Last week, he had our undivided attention at the Cafe Bible study. He was doing that whole little I said, come on now.
That's why
I still was trying to break the corn down.
That's why I said Abraham should have knew.
Said corn.
What you said?
Said corn. That what you do was a
When
living.
you talk about the living,
I knew I had something wrong.
You something yellow.
Yeah, something yellow. The yellow part is one.
Okay,
And then the kernel.
All right, so when we do this again next month, it'll be May 21st when we have it. We're doing, a lot of people ain't heard of this couple, but it's Priscilla and Aquila. So this gives you great. So this
That's a man and a
Priscilla and Aquila. And see, this is the thing.
That's what my husband said.
This is the thing.
My husband said the same thing.
What I said?
This is the thing.
Ain't that too weird?
This should be good. This should be good because a lot of y'all don't know anything about Priscilla and Aquila. So guess what? Y'all got a whole month to be able to study on who was Priscilla, Aquila, and Aquila, what and how they. And I'm gonna put this out there: the ministry that God gave them. So you'll be able to kind of understand some things. See, because what we focus on is these main stories that we've learned from childhood. Look, look at Charlie back there trying to figure out our man.
Man, right?
I've never heard of these people.
Yeah.
Where you finding it?
Of course, Priscilla is the woman. Aquila is the man. Yeah.
A girl named Aquila.
Where you find that in the Old Testament?
It's a story in the Bible. Look at everybody going to it right now. They trying to have I ain't never heard of this one.
I heard it, but I ain't never
So then this will make for a great discussion on he say, she say, especially when nobody knows about the story.
I don't think I ever heard about it in the New Testament.
What? I've heard it preached one time.
Oh.
Yeah. Yes.
Acts 18.
It's in the New Testament.
I feel
Acts 8.
That don't
I read all of them. And I ain't never heard of that.
No, it's all right.
Acts 18 and
It's there. It's
I
there.
can't hear that. I can talk.
Acts 18, 24 to 26.
All right.
All right, yeah. So then it looks like then in June we're gonna do Joseph and Mary.
Oh,
And July we'll do King and Xerxes and Esther.
Okay, that's good. Okay.
Followed by Jacob and Rachel.
Okay.
Then we're doing Elkanah and Hannah. And one of my favorite ones, and I may need to move them up, but I'm gonna keep them down here. Hosea and Gomer.
Oh man. Yep. Yeah,
when he married a prostitute. Hosea. All right, but Priscilla and Aquila, get to studying.
28 and 19, I'm gonna leave.
We don't teach